Again, hi everybody. Welcome in to Unanchored Boston with Bob Lobel. I am Mike Lynch, and as always, we are brought to you by Cold Springs RV, your destination for all things camping. And where? We're in New Hampshire, of course, and by the great George Gray, the big wheel we call him, at George Gray's Lexington Toyota 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. All right, we've got an oldie but goodie here today. One of our former
who are you calling old?
Really? Come on, Mike. Come on.
Old, a veteran and a goodie. How's that?
Thank you, Michael.
A veteran. And
I'm the only one left. Come on, let's be honest.
You're the only one left there, or just the only one left in the city?
From us, us. That's
you're pretty close to the only one left in the city.
Well, Butch Stearns is here, and Butch, Lobie always does the formal introduction, so Lobie, take it away.
I can't help to mention that, as you can see, he's got his wardrobe behind him.
Yep.
And he's in the Fox 25, Boston 25 studios.
Yeah.
And there's his ties on the table. I can only assume that you were kicked out of home, kicked out of your house. And
be careful. That's a sore subject. I don't want to talk about it. These are my sneakers of choice that I wear on the air now.
See this. So you're living at the station now because there's no place else.
I am. I have my toiletries bag right here. So spread the rumors now.
Okay, well, straighten it out, Butch. I don't want to have any rumors flying around that aren't true.
Let me add, Butch. People even in the business and forget about it, out of the business. It no longer Fox 25 because Fox exchanged ownership with Cox.
Yes.
And now you're Boston 25. Is that right?
The short history is this. I forget the exact year, 2015 maybe. Fox and Cox made a trade. It was like a sports trade. Cox was primarily in the Southeast and had some other stations, but they had a San Francisco station that was a duopoly. And Fox really never had a stranglehold.
What?
Duopoly, that's two.
Two different stations.
You went to Harvard, didn't you?
Is that a Stonehill?
No, but two
don't even
two
bother,
networks.
Don't
two
even
networks
bother,
in the same building. So they made a trade because Fox wanted San Francisco so bad. Because if you remember, back in 1994, I believe it was, Rupert Murdoch outbid NBC for the NFL by millions of dollars. They said he was nuts. He made billions because of it in the long run. But he started all local Fox television stations in all the major markets, mainly NFC markets. And San Francisco was the only NFC market that he didn't have. So behind that trade, Fox traded our station to Cox, and Cox gave them
Fox and Cox. Come on,
Cox gave them San Francisco, and that's all they really wanted.
Too many jokes available here.
The name change actually came around because we're run by consultants, and after we talked to consultants, they came in one day, and this is my shortened version of it. I probably shouldn't be talking about it. But they decided that, of course, Massachusetts is a liberal state. Didn't you know that? And so the Fox connotation brought on a different connotation that probably was turning viewers off. So they decided to ask my opinion about it one time. And I just gave them my brutally honest opinion. I said, okay, you want my opinion? Massachusetts is not a liberal state. It votes liberal. That's two different things. Go to Everett, go to Chelsea, go to Plymouth, go to the Vineyard, go anywhere you want and talk to people. This is not a liberal state.
Okay, what are we getting into here?
That's why they changed the name. My friends still call it Fox 25. You're free to call it what you want.
Well, call it Boston 20. Why is it still on the sign out there? Why is it still on the building behind you under the satellite dish?
Everything costs money, Bob.
Okay.
So.
Not us.
You still have the panic button. What are you talking about?
That was expensive.
After the Raiders opener, his finger was very, very close to it a couple of times.
I can imagine.
Still is if you start to think about. Unless you mentioned the Braintree Little League, I just want to start off since Stonehill. Mikey mentioned you went to Stonehill, and of course you grew up in Braintree, and Braintree Little League in the Little League World Series had to be one of the biggest sports events in the history of Braintree.
Well, look, Mike. I mean, you're from Swampscott. I'm from Braintree. Yeah, absolutely. No question.
What is this, Mike?
Peter Corman won the first medal for a gymnast in 44 years. When he went to the 1976 Olympics, he won a bronze, so that was pretty big. But yeah, the Braintree Little Leaguers were a huge story, and it was a huge story because you guys know it. I mean, of course, it mattered to me and a lot of other people that it was Braintree. But what if it was Swampscott? What if it was Marblehead? What if it was Gloucester? Does it really matter? A Massachusetts team going to the Little League World Series was huge. I think these guys just happened to capture people's imaginations a little bit more, mainly because of their second baseman, Logan Needle, who was, in the words of his father, Sean, this is his words, when I talked to him, I said, Sean, how's the support been? He goes, Butch, my son, he's a little chunka at second base. I'm getting letters and emails that he's an inspiration to my grandkids and my kids. So they really captured everybody's imagination. The fact that they played 2 one-run games when they got waxed in the first game is pretty amazing, considering, I don't want to get deep into it, but they were a local all-star team, not a regional team, like a lot of all the teams they played against were regional teams.
Most of them shave. They didn't shave.
Yeah, that too. So, but it was an unbelievable run. I was at Fenway with them yesterday. The Red Sox did an amazing job celebrating them. The players were amazing. The kids had the time of their lives. Trevor Story, I told him, I got in there early just to get a soundbite with him for my early hit. And I told him that they were out there. And he said, really? So he came out. And one of the kids, Frankie Pasoli, who was the coach's son, the little pitcher who was great, just said to him, hey, can I have your bat? And he gave it to him. So it was awesome.
Is there any, you may disagree, Mike and Butch, is there anybody, talking about this year's Red Sox team, since we're trying to combine the two, is there anybody that's been more of an impact on this Red Sox team than Trevor Story? I mean, this year, I know Roman Anthony went down, Bregman went down, maybe Crochet's right up there, but I don't think anybody's played better than Trevor Story
I think you're right. Maybe Duran, but Story, he'd been such a disappointment because of injuries that I had sort of mentally just, checked him off. I just, see you later. And it just didn't work. And all of a sudden he is, he's probably the fulcrum of this comeback of the Red Sox.
I haven't heard that term since my dad told me that. My dad was a stonemason, and I had a crowbar one day, and he said, use the fulcrum. I said,
okay, duopoly is, Mike didn't know about duopoly. You didn't know about fulcrum.
Bob, Mike and I are doing this show. You just sit back there for a minute, okay?
Shut up, Bob.
Fulcrum and duopolies. Go ahead. Oh
my God, what did you play? Did you play Little League baseball in Braintree?
I did. I played on the same fields that they played on. Yep.
Were you on the All-Star team?
My claim to fame was we had park leagues in the summer. We played at a park. Yeah. And I had 2 home runs in the first 3 games, and in the local paper, the Braintree Forum and the Braintree Star, they put the stats, and I led the league in home runs for a week. I hit 4 for the year, but let's not the facts get in the way of a good story. So.
There's nothing like it. I can remember we lost in the district final, so that was a 1, 2, 3, or 4th game.
Yep.
And you thought that somebody ripped your heart out, somebody had murdered your entire family. You thought that town blew up and the world was going to end the next day because you lost and you were eliminated from the Little League All-Stars. There was nothing more devastating.
Well, I think the 3 of us all know this from our business, and especially in the heyday of covering Boston sports. We kind of dreaded when the Little League tournament season came around because it was hard to do it justice. And once you covered one team, everybody wanted covered, especially with, even with full sports departments, right? Yeah, right. However, you're never disappointed when you put kids on television. No. You just never are. It's a huge deal. And I think that's the point you're making, Mike. I remembered what a big deal it was to have my name in the paper. It might be on television. Give me a break. So, yeah, it was a huge story. I think it was a huge story.
Well, how do you end up as a one-man band, basically? As they say, how do you cover the Patriots? How do you do it all, Butch? I mean, Patriots, I guess, have to be first priority right now because it's everybody's first priority.
You guys know the answer to this question. You just do it. There's things you can't do. So my schedule primarily every week is Sunday through Thursday. I'm off Friday, Saturday. We don't have any more Saturday night newscasts because there's so much sports on Fox, so they just decided to can that. And so on Fridays, they just have the anchors do sports. My friends notice. I honestly, the way people consume their news now, I don't know how many people really notice that I'm not there or not. So I just do what I can do. I don't, like I said, here's a couple byproducts of just me being the only on-air person here. We still have our main cameraman, Walt McGraw, who's everywhere. He one-man bands things now a lot. We still have our producer, Mike Pitts, and then we have some general freelance guys that can fill in and do sports. But there's a lot of things I don't do. I used to live at Fenway. We all did, didn't we? We lived there. When I was the number 2 guy, I was there every homestand, almost every game. If I missed a game, it was something wrong. I was there yesterday for the first time since May and the 3rd time this year. Yeah. I'm embarrassed to say that. I walked in and they said, "Oh, this must be a big game." I said, "All the phonies are here." I said, "Come on, let's be honest. All the phonies are here." I don't go down. I didn't go down to Foxborough today. I'm not going to be there. I know we're going to talk about Parcells and how I have so many conversations with the young people around there. How good was Parcells? I go, well, he was the best press conference that this town has ever seen. Every single one of them. It was a must see. I mean, but it's hard to explain people that, right? But I don't go down there a lot.
He's the reason, Parcells, the reason we started 5th quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it wasn't for Parcells, do you think we'd be putting these guys, Belichick on these guys, Pete Carroll on 5th quarter? I mean,
right.
I mean, Parcells was the reason we put it on.
Yeah. It was in the weight room. Remember you guys, the first time you did it? It was in the weight room.
Yes.
All these dumbbells and, bench press thing all around. Everyone have to maneuver through them, try to shoot around them. And that's where the guy asked him if he outcoached Pete Carroll. And he said, "That's a dumbass question. That's a dumbass question." And right there we said, wow, we cannot miss any press conferences. Every syllable out of this guy's mouth has to be recorded because you never know when you're going to get a gem.
Is he the best, Butch, as far as?
Oh, I mean, where do you begin? I'm a
I know
member
you're a big Belichick guy, or were. I don't know if you still are, but were.
How can you be a big Belichick guy now? He's just gone off the deep end, right? I mean, Look, when they started the Patriots Hall of Fame nomination committee, I was on it. I think you were on it, Mike. Were you on it, Bob?
I'm still on it.
No, thank God.
Yeah,
they did.
Right. And they did it. They did it honestly.
I'd have to turn myself into the FBI.
No disrespect to us, but when Robert Kraft took the team over, he started putting people in the Hall of Fame. And Stacey James, this is the story I heard, went to him and said, "Look, why don't we do this? Why don't we get a committee? Why don't we get somebody from every media outlet?" So they asked me at the time, and you guys, and so we came in and we started doing it. But leading up to Parcells and why he's in the Hall of Fame, people always say, "Why don't you elect us?" We're not an election committee. We're a nomination committee. We go in that room, Mike, you've been in there. I love those discussions because you're not only having the discussions with us as colleagues, but all of a sudden there's a debate about Fred Marion and Raymond Claiborne and who was better, and everybody would say Claiborne. You look to Grogan, Steve, could you chime in on this? You look to Andre Tippett, and it's not baseball. It's not all about numbers. So how do you rank an offensive lineman or a nose guard? But we nominated Bill Parcells. Our job is to vote, and we come out with 3 finalists, and then it goes to the fans. So it becomes a popularity vote. We nominated Bill Parcells 4 times, and each time the fans voted him 3rd out of the 3, all 4 times. Why? By their actions, they chose to remember Parcells, not for the significance that he was to this franchise, but for how he left them high and dry in that Super Bowl because he had already signed with the Jets. So it is what it is. So I'm really glad Robert Kraft walked in the room last year and said that he was going to do that, and he did it. And because he's 84 now. He's 84. I'm sure Kraft would like the people that run the Pro Football Hall of Fame to look at him the same way and see that he's getting older. Who knows if it'll ever happen? But I mean, he isn't. There were, in my mind, in the history of the Patriots, they're the 3 most significant people were Robert Kraft, Bill Parcells, and Drew Bledsoe. Now, Belichick and Brady, of course, are right up there afterwards. But Belichick and Brady might not even happen if it's not for Parcells being hired, for Kraft buying the team, and for Parcells choosing Bledsoe over Rick Meyer for what he was to the franchise, right? So they should all be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the Patriots Hall of Fame.
What about Adam Vinatieri?
Well,
That's a whole nother story.
Adam was on the ballot for the first time this year. By the way it works with Kraft, and this was another shrewd move by him, players are eligible, or coaches, when they retire 4 years later, it's 5 years for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So Kraft wanted to put his greats, or give them a chance to go in to the Team Hall of Fame before they went in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He waived the whole thing for Brady, of course, and he should do the same for Belichick.
Shouldn't he do the same for Vinatieri?
Well, Vinatieri was on the ballot this year, and we voted. And we all knew if Edelman got on it, see, this is where it becomes tough.
Well, why doesn't Kraft walk in the room and...
Here's who my 3 finalists that I voted for this year. Logan Mankins, Adam Vinatieri, and Julian Edelman. And I'm not going to say who, but somebody came up to me before and said, don't vote for Edelman. If he gets on it, he's going to win. Well, Stacy always kind of cautions us, says, don't do that. Vote for you think are the top 3 guys who are not in the Hall of Fame that should be in the Hall of Fame. And then, of course, when the 6 Super Bowl Patriots started to come on, Gronk's on next year. When they started to come on, all the old guys get forgotten. So every 2 years, they have a senior committee that nominates the old guys, the older guys that got in. Guys like John Morris got in.
Houston Antwine.
Antwine, right.
Yep.
And Roberts always put in contributors. People.
But that's Lynch's. This is Lynch's thing.
Stop right there, Butch.
Yeah.
You must put fingernails on a blackboard when I hear that word, contributor. That is a slap in the face to Bill Parcells. It's a slap in the face to the coaching fraternity. It's a slap in the face to the entire National Football League that Bill Parcells is going into the Patriots Hall of Fame as a contributor. A contributor is Gil Santos, was what he's in as a contributor. Tracy, the cheerleader,
Tracy Sermonti, yeah,
is in as a contributor.
True.
Billy Sullivan is in as a contributor. He was the original owner. Bill Parcells, a contributor, like he sort of.
Dante Scarnecchia.
I don't know if technically he's called a contributor. He put him in.
He is called.
Well, Dante Scarnecchia, contributor.
I think he's, but I think
as a coach.
I think he's only categorized. Mike, I don't disagree with your sentiment. I don't. It's a disgrace. But I only think he's categorized as a contributor because he wasn't voted in by the fans as a coach. So he's put in by the owner as a coach, not as a contributor. That one's going to be taken out. He's got to be a coach. I'm with you.
I'll go right back to Vinatieri. Why doesn't Kraft step in and waive everything for Vinatieri? Did he not kick the most important field goal in the history of the National Football League?
Why isn't Adam Vinatieri in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, I don't know what that eligibility is all about.
Borges told me it was politics. In those rooms, people trade votes for an offensive lineman to this guy. You vote for this guy, I'll vote for my guy. But I mean, there's only 2, to my knowledge. There's 4 kickers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but only 2 of them are true place kickers, Jan Stenerud and Morton Anderson. The other 2 are George Blanda and Lou Groza, and they played other positions. So Adam Vinatieri is not a better kicker than Jan Stenerud or a more significant kicker in the history of the NFL than Jan Stenerud or Morton Anderson. I actually knew Morton and was a good friend of his. He's the longevity vote. What's his most significant kick? It was a miss when he lost to the Vikings in the NFC Championship game.
It's like putting a designated hitter into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Some people just say, I want somebody that plays all 9 innings. I want everybody that plays all 4 downs. I don't want somebody that comes in maybe 3 times a game, kicks 2 extra points and a field goal. It's just a mentality. It's wrong, but it's a mentality.
Well, I think what we're debating or we're discussing is why wasn't he in the Hall of Fame a lot earlier, right?
Parcells?
Yeah.
In the Patriots Hall of Fame?
Yes.
It's because he did not go home in the team plane. He's not the only person that never went back on a team plane or any team that played in the Super Bowl. I believe Drew Bledsoe. Now, I could be wrong, and I will apologize and stand on my head if I have to. But I believe in '97 when they played the Packers, I don't think he flew back on the team plane. Nobody made much out of that. But here we are with Parcells. They'd already, had parted ways with Robert Kraft. That rift had started before the season even began. It was in the off season.
Yeah, if you're going to shop, if you're going to, want us to cook the dinner, you got to shop. You can let me shop for the groceries. That's like talk about. I mean, Belichick's taking his shot about owner's son and all that stuff, but that was a pretty good shot at the ownership.
Oh my God! But Parcells did it so much more creatively.
Want to hear some of the
Belichick or anybody?
Play some of the tape, Mike. Which one do you want to hear? We have three or four tapes on Parcells talking about.
You got the Terry Glenn one?
Whatever one Keelan has ready, just throw it up and we'll react to it.
All right.
No, I really
think he's more motivated after sitting down a little bit.
Well, I don't know. Everybody's trying to stir that up around here. Who's sitting, who's playing. I don't really give a I gotta tell you the truth. It's unbelievable. That's why sometimes I call you guys commies. That's why. It's that stuff right there. There it is. Subversive from within. Even when it's going good.
Any improvement on Terry Glenn?
Well, he missed again today, so we'll see. She's making progress, yeah, I think. My mother, God bless her, may she rest in peace, was volatile. Okay? She was volatile.
Coach, what happened to Taylor in the last play? Why was he in there?
Well, that's a good question. I think he pulled his hamstring a little bit. So, we'll see what happens.
Did you have any thoughts of taking him out at all?
Well, I can't think for everybody around here. So, it's just one of those things. We'll see what happens. I don't know how bad it is right
Bill,
now.
Does that mean you were annoyed with your defensive coach?
I don't mean any thing, okay? You got me? I don't mean anything.
Bill, you acknowledge that you might see the Redskins down the road. Does the thought of that scare you?
Let me tell you what I'm scared of. I'm scared of spiders, snakes, and the IRS.
Not the.
So let me follow up with a story on the scared thing. So every year for about 4 or 5 years in a row, I did a stupid story on Halloween, and I would go in the locker room and ask if you guys are superstitious. So one day I was down there. I can't remember what years. It was Parcells was there, and I was the end of the press conference. I said, Coach, can I ask you one last question? I said, I just want to know how superstitious you are, if you're superstitious. He peers at me, and he says, who told you to ask that question? I said, nobody. I'm doing a story that I do all the time. He goes just like this. He said, let me just tell you something. I'm so superstitious that if I, on the way here, drove over a black cat, I would back up over it to get rid of the curse. So he said that. I ended the piece with it. I go down to Foxborough the next day. He sees me in the hallway. He didn't remember my name. He goes, hey, come here. He goes, I got a call from PETA today. I go, the protection of ethical treatment of animals? He goes, yeah, because of that black cat comment. I said, what are you blaming me for? You said it. And he just winks at me and walks away.
Yeah, that's true about the thing. And if he sees a black cat, he would back out of his driveway in Foxborough. If he saw one like on the street, he'd have to put it in drive and go forward because that would negate it and wipe it out. And I don't know if you ever went to his office down in Foxborough, but he has elephants all over his office, porcelain elephants with their trunks up, which is a sign of good luck. So I don't know where he found these damn things, but it's a doorstop. It's a book end on the thing. There had to be a half dozen of them. I'm looking at the board is up there with all the names of people going to scout a draft. But my eyes were. I said, "What is this all about?" And he says, let me tell you, you're not a superstitious guy? I am. He goes, well, I'm superstitious too. And this gets rid of all the bad thoughts and all the bad things around me. Elephants up.
I mean, whatever we knew about him when he got here, from our perspective, and I'm sure the fans' perspective, oh my goodness, he was the Academy Award-winning press conference guy of all time, right?
No
and
question.
So it was great for our business. However, there's so many young people that don't understand his significance because there hasn't been an empty seat in that stadium since
he totally changed the culture. But
since he became coach. Don't you remember the day he was hired? And it was like, oh my goodness, they're hiring Bill Parcells. They're a legit football team now.
Well, don't forget it was Orthwine that hired Parcells.
Right.
And I think that kind of irritated Kraft too.
Otis. That was his nickname. Remember Otis and Indian Mayberry?
Otis.
That's what they called James Bush. Otis.
I'm going to go down there on Saturday. I'm golfing in the morning at Braintree. I haven't told my wife this yet. She knows I'm golfing. But as soon as I shower, I'm going to go down.
Do you know
there
you're living at the station?
I don't want to tell you where she's living. No, I'm only kidding. But I want to go down there at 4:00 because you know what? Bill Parcells is 84 years old now. And I want to see him in person one more time. I don't know if I'll get the chance another time. I don't know when he's going to pass away. Who knows? God bless him. I hope he lives to 95 if he wants. But, you know, I just, to me, I couldn't believe I was covering him. I had pinch me moments when I first started covering him, you know? Wow, this is Bill Parcells. So he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to get in however it happened, Michael. I, for one, am glad it happened, you know, and I'm glad Kraft finally came around. He's going to have to do the same for Belichick, despite this whole feud. He just has to. The fans demand it. So although Belichick makes it hard, doesn't he?
He does. I texted him twice this week to see if he wanted to come on the show, and he said, "I'm not doing any interviews until after the ceremony." So I don't know if that means he's just doing a press conference after the ceremony, or he might come on with us next week. I hope he comes on with us because it sure would be a hell of a lot of fun. I did the show with him for all 4 years he coached, and it was incredible. Every single week, I had to be on my toes because I never knew what was coming. First thing he'd do, he'd walk in, he'd look at me, and I always had like a button-down polo shirt with, with khakis on. I never wore socks. He'd walk in, he'd stand there, he'd look at me, he'd shake his head. He goes, "Where the hell did you grow up? Greenwich, Connecticut?" I said, "Why? What's wrong with this?" He says, "You know what you need? You need a gray silver jacket. You need a black shirt buttoned to the top, black socks." And I said, "You want to look like a mafia don? Is that what? Yeah, you should be looking like that instead of looking like some little preppy asshole." I said, "Oh," and then that's how the show would start, you know, and then we'd roll, and everybody was in a good mood.
We can have a little clip of you dressed like that, Mike. I just want to put that on. I want to show. We need to show.
Playing them. I mean, if you look at the records, the conference record, just say it trickles down to total points scored. I'm just referring back to that. But let me bear with me for a second. You know the Monday night game when Dallas.
You know, I wish I could go through life like you, Mike.
Why?
In this illusionary world about what ifs. Well, let's just deal with. We're not playing them in the playoff. It could come down to this. It could come. Why do you worry about things that might never happen?
Because of something that did happen a couple Monday nights ago.
What's that?
Dallas and Green Bay. Game was in hand. Bonio has a chance for a record-tying 7th field goal. Right. And if could Green Bay.
We had a chance Sunday for a field goal. Do we kick it?
No, but my point is, in a game like this, would you ever consider doing that late in the game?
I don't think so. If it comes down to the 7th tiebreaker, I'll just let the chips fall where they may, or whatever it is. But I would never intentionally run up the score anyway.
Okay.
Never have any.
Let's get to the Chargers.
Wish you were coaching.
You'd run it up on me?
I might, yeah.
I'd be so far ahead of you. You'd never have enough.
Right. I'm sure you would.
Never have the opportunity.
I'm sure you would, throwing the ball all over the place like you would.
Be a 4.5-hour game.
Sure would.
Time for our internet question.
Let me ask you two guys a question.
Shame on you. Well, wait a minute, Butch, before you got to talk about the wardrobe first. That is the most.
The shirt?
Yeah, the shirt. And the hair, too. The
worst
shirt and the hair
shirt ever.
Together.
And you were always Mr. Conservative on the air, Robert?
I didn't say that, but no. Hey, he does Parcells' show. I did the Rick Pitino show. What do you do? What does that tell you?
Well, I was going to ask you guys, did you, with Parcells or Pitino or any other guys you had on as regulars, players, ex-players, coaches, did they ever tell you something right before the show or off the air? They were like, "Oh, this is going to be good." And then they just wouldn't go there when you brought it up on the air? I wouldn't think Parcells would be like that, Mike, or Pitino, because they were they would say it on the air, wouldn't they?
I tell you, the only thing that happened with Pitino is he got 7 guys together on a Monday night during the middle of the season at the Palm Restaurant in Boston. And there were 2 of us, myself and Alan Miller, a producer, and 8 or 9 of his other Jersey Red and all the other guys that were hanging around a table, and he asked him whether he wanted to take a vote as to whether he should stay or leave. And it's not. I never put that on television. Should I stay or should I leave? We all went around. What did I say? I said that's why they built the cellar, Rick, so you can get out of town as fast as possible.
Do you remember what the vote was? What was the vote?
There were some that urged him to stay, but he gave up about $25 million to leave, and there were a lot of us, I think, said that urged him to get the hell out. After he had so many great quotes too. I mean, Parcells was the greatest quote of all time, but Patino wasn't far behind him. Larry Bird's not walking through that door. Fellowship.
I was the only camera there that night. I was the only television camera there that night. I happened to be covering the game because we did a pregame story. I stayed for the game. Yeah, and he started talking, and the question, I didn't ask it, that was asked literally was, didn't you think the weather was beautiful today? It had nothing to do with anything. And he started by saying, I wish we could have $100 million to spend on players. And now the hypocrisy of all of this is he gave 6 or 7 players, overpaid every one of them, Travis Knight, all this and that. He goes, but I can't. We're above the salary cap, and I can't. Larry Bird's not walking through that door, friends. And Kevin McHale's not walking through the door. And if none of them, they'd be old and gray. And I was like, I'm texting work. I go, I got your lead.
Fellowship of the miserable. What else did he say?
Right. It was unbelievable when I heard. Right when I heard it,
what did he say about the Fellowship of the miserable? It's right in there. Is this?
He said, "I'm tired of all the negativity in this.
Negativity in this town."
Yeah, and he said, and Jim Rice, and he named a couple other iconic players. They had to go through it, and that's how he started it.
So anyway, he left. That was the week he left.
Yeah, but Parcells pretty much let it fly, like we just saw on that, right?
Lynchy must have enjoyed sitting with Parcells every week. I mean, that looked like a lot of fun, despite the way you dressed. Make fun of your shirt.
Yeah, he told me he's going to run the score up on me if he was playing against me, because I'd be throwing the ball all over the place.
That was great. I mean, Miller and I go to the Garden on Wednesday and pray that they'd win, so he'd be in a good mood Thursday when we tape the show.
Right? No. He.
Yeah, there we go. Right, men into basketball. I still like the guy, despite what he did here, despite him firing Red. He didn't get the first draft pick. That's what happened. The ping
Tim
pong
Duncan.
balls. Yeah. Tim Duncan went,
Tim Duncan
predicated on that. And it was a coronation and everything else. And I really ended up liking the guy for lots of reasons. But
I'll tell you when the one time something happened to me was when so Jonathan, when I got let go here at Fox in 2009, no, it wasn't.
I mean, if you let go, there's a chance you could come back.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
This was 1990.
We only knew Bob.
What?
Whatever. I was looking for a job. I got let go of Channel 68 got sold. And Jonathan Kraft called me up and said, why don't you come down and have lunch? And he said, why don't you do Patriots Monday? I said, what's Patriots Monday? He said, it's nothing yet. He goes, but we own the rights of our quarterback and our head coach, the local radio rights. So what we want to do is shop that around amongst the sports stations. So it was on 1510 The Zone to start. And we taped it on Mondays. The first year was with Pete Carroll and Drew Bledsoe. And it was me, Will McDonough, and Jimmy Donaldson. Both
great.
On now.
Great. That's great.
Right. And Pete Carroll actually walked in at the end of the year. And I said, are you getting let go? He goes, yeah. Why don't you break it, Butch? He did. He told me he was getting fired.
Wow.
So I did. But then I started the show with Belichick. Now, we did it in the old 1776 club. I sat here. Will sat here. Belichick sat right across from him. And Jimmy Donaldson sat there. And every single time Belichick opened his mouth, I looked at Will. Will was so friendly with Parcells. But so finally, after trying to get Belichick, it was like listening to paint dry. I'd come in with a list of questions. Hey, Coach, here's the 6 questions I want to ask you. Take a look at them. Tell me if there's anything else. Nope, that looks good. So one week I come in, I start reading them off. I said, I want to ask you about this. I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about Drew Bledsoe having trouble with the shotgun snap. No, Damian Woody having trouble with the shotgun snap. And I go on to the next question, and he interrupts me. He goes, who says it's Woody's fault? And I look at Will. And he goes, excuse me. He goes to the bathroom. I go, did he just tell us what I think he told us? He's not a Bledsoe guy. I mean, this was before 9/11 and before what's his name, who hit him, the Jets linebacker,
Mo Lewis.
Mo Lewis. And I'm thinking to myself, and then that offseason, if you remember, they had the press conference, which they never, ever had again, to re-sign Bledsoe to the highest contract ever. It was in a hotel in Boston. It was not in Foxborough. Belichick looked like he wanted to stab himself in the eye with needles, that they were celebrating. Robert was celebrating the highest nobody was ever above the team, right? So to me, that little thing and other things that he did told me he's not a Bledsoe guy. He didn't draft him. He wasn't a Bledsoe guy. He was here when they drafted him. He was a defensive backs coach. And so I wasn't surprised. I think that year, who knows, if Mo Lewis never happened and they kept losing, he would have found a way, like he did in Cleveland with Vinny Testaverde and Bernie Kosar, right? I think he would have found a way to bench Bledsoe. I really do. So
it's interesting that these.
I'm sorry, just to finish.
Go ahead.
Just to finish the point about your guys' story about Patino and Parcells. So when I got that, I go, oh, this is awesome. I asked him about it, and we're taping the show. And I said, Coach, tell me about the shotgun snaps. We got to get better. He wouldn't go there. He wouldn't give us anything. It's like, come on. So anyway,
well, I was just going to say, it's interesting that Belichick would act that way and not be a Bledsoe guy, perhaps because he's not the one that chose him. And that it was Kraft that chose him, and Kraft was upset at Parcells because he's not the one that chose him. So these guys both had egos that were have come out in the later years. Now they're paired against each other. These are two big egos paired against each other.
Let me ask both you guys this. We all believe, I think, that the way the Brady leaving story started was that he wanted 3 years and $75 million, right? And he went to Kraft, and Kraft said, let me talk to Belichick. And he went to Belichick, and Belichick said no. That, by all accounts, is some version of that happened, right? Belichick didn't want him. So if that's true, if he was willing to get rid of whatever logic of his, I don't want a 40-year-old quarterback taking up $25 million a year in my cap space, it was a mistake, obviously, right? But if he was willing to do that, how in the hell did he want to sign Drew Bledsoe to the largest contract in the history of the NFL at the time? Not a chance. Not a chance Bill Belichick wanted to do that, I think.
Let me interrupt this. Can I say, have you ever been camping? Can I do this, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
I don't mean it. Go ahead. You want to jump in and finish this?
No, I got another Bledsoe Parcells quick story, but go ahead. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear that, and then I'll just get ready for the camping.
Well, Parcells would walk in and sit down. They're putting the microphone on him, and I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Do you got any baby powder on you?" I said, "No, I don't." I'm thinking he's, going to say something about me. He said, "I need some baby powder, but by the time I get out to practice today, I got to powder my quarterback's ass." I said, "Why?" He said, "I yelled at him yesterday, and he's really sad. He called his mommy and daddy up."
Oh boy!
And I need to soothe things over today, so I got to put a little bit of baby powder on his ass before practice starts today. So if you have any around, just let me know about it so I can put. And this is how we start the show. And where do you go from there?
We've all had things we never shared on the air that have happened to us behind the scenes like this. Who was the quarterback, Mike, by the way?
Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, really?
Drew Bledsoe. And then
this was a Belichick thing. I thought it was a Parcells thing.
No, it's a Parcells thing.
Yeah, it was Parcells. He did say that.
I thought so. Okay.
Parcells. And then another Parcells that we were playing a preseason game against the Raiders at Stanford Stadium. Now, I didn't fly out in the team plane because I took my daughter with me. She was looking at colleges, up in the San Francisco area. So I'm in a conference room at the airport Hyatt or something. And here comes Parcells. He's got a shoulder bag. He's still got his shades on. He's got his Don Vito Parcells outfit on, sport jacket, slacks. He sits around. He looks around at everybody, and you can tell that he's making this comment to go right back to Robert. He goes, long fucking ass way to go to play for a game that doesn't mean shit, doesn't it? And I said, all right, he's in a bad mood now. So At halftime, the Patriots are up like let's call it for no other reason 28-3. They lose like 31-28. Preseason game, so it doesn't mean that much. Now, Stanford Stadium, the visiting locker room was detached from the stadium. It was a Quonset hut, like the kind they had in Goma Pile, and that's where they dressed. Parcells is so livid at the team for giving up, 28-point lead that he tells the security guy outside, nobody, and I mean nobody, gets in this locker room until I say so. All right, so you shut the door, but they had those windows that tilted up so you could hear everything he was saying. All you had to do was hold your microphone. He had sound clip of all time. You effing guys, you blah 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 blah. Along comes Jonathan Kraft. And he goes to come in the locker room, and the security guy goes, "I'm sorry, sir, no one's allowed into. The coach says so." He goes, "No, I'm all right. The coach was, I'm okay. I'm sorry, sir, you can't go in there. I'm sorry. Do you know who I am? And I really care who you are." Mr. Parcells said, "My name's Jonathan Kraft. I own this team. But listen, I own this team, and I'll own you if you don't open this door right now." So Jonathan goes in, and you know the scenes in Western saloons, swinging doors. Where somebody gets hit and they come tumbling out to the store. Well, that's basically what happened. Jonathan comes stumbling out. He didn't get hit, of course, but he was Parcells threw him out of the locker room. And then the guy said, "Okay, now coach is available for interview." I said, "Oh, he's going to be in a great move. This is going to be something else." But these are just some of the things that that happened when you were around this guy. And like with another clip I had, which I didn't run because it's about 5 minutes, but I was asking him if he was leaving for the Jets at the end of the year. He says, "I'm not talking about that." And I says, "Well, what about the reports?" Mm-hmm. What about the reports? All right. What about Dallas this week? Now I'm talking, and then he starts talking away after he did that. But he was a gem. All right, now I can go to the commercial, Bob.
He and Will McDonough had the same agent, and the guy died with Payne Stewart.
Yeah,
was in that plane crash.
Right. Yeah. Right.
He and Parcells, Will and Bill, were
I called them.
One came from Southie, the other came from New Jersey, but these were the mean streets of New Jersey at the time.
Oh yeah.
I called him on the phone when Will died to get a comment. Parcells couldn't bring himself to come to the funeral. He was weeping like a child. I couldn't use one bite of it on the air because it would have been unfair to Parcells. He just was bawling his eyes out. He couldn't string two words together like, Mike, I can't, Mike, I can't. And I kept the tape, the audio cassette, and then afterwards I just pulled all the tape out and just threw it in the barrel so nobody would get it and, years later and play it on the air or, put it on social media. But he and Will were as tight as any two people could be. And that
remember Will's wake that was in the church when Billy Bulger was sitting next to Jeffrey McMullen. He passed out. Yeah. Billy Bulger passed out, Senate president, right?
Yeah.
Everybody said, well, he passed out because he saw his brother Whitey outside the window. I mean, it was Will's wake and Will's.
I don't want to go down the Will rabbit hole because I think we all have the same reverence for Will McDonough as we should. He was so instrumental in my career and my life in so many ways. And it was just, there was nobody like Will. There was nobody like him. I'll tell you one, this is very short. When we were taping those shows, because they used to come in separately, the quarterback and the head coach, and Drew Bledsoe came in one day, and you know how big Bledsoe is. Bledsoe's a big guy. So he went to sit down. He said, "Butchie, give me a minute. Willie, can I talk to you?" So they turned around and they went walking down that hallway in the old 77-6 club. And I'm getting my papers together and I turned and I looked. And Will was getting a little older then. And he kind of shuffled. And Bledsoe had his arm on his shoulder, twice his size. And he was walking down and they came back. And I wish I took a picture or a video because it was the essence of Will McDonough, star athlete in town, talking to Will. And by all accounts saying, okay, here's what the owners are telling me. Here's what's going on. You tell me what's going on. And so they get back to the table, and I looked at Will. I go, "We got something?" He goes, "I do." Like it ain't gonna air on this show.
So, no, it's unbelievable.
Did Bledsoe have any powder on his ass coming out?
I think he did, Mike. I think there was a trail of something.
When he sat down, was there a puff of like white powder or anything?
Don't forget, Will ever remember he punched out Raymond.
I misremember, Mike. Remember Roger Clemens said that? I misremember.
You remember the fight Will got into with Raymond Claiborne?
Raymond Claiborne. Oh yeah,
he decked him.
Yeah.
Will
no, his best moment. One of his best moments ever was on your show when he called out Eddie Andelman. When Eddie came on and said, "I've been talking to GMs," and Will goes, "What GMs have you been talking to? You haven't talked to one GM."
We have a clip on Will after one of the Super Bowls. So let's throw it up.
Before the game, if they could get to halftime and they could get the lead, I thought they were going to win the game. And like we said before the game, I thought the two most important players for New England would be Ty Law, scores a touchdown, Otis, who played a great game. But my most valuable player, and I'm going to write about it tomorrow morning in the Globe, is Romeo Cornell, the defensive coordinator. This is the offensive team in the history of the game. They shut him down, and he had to go head-to-head not only with Kurt Warner but with Mike Motz. No timeouts, and get it done.
Okay, come on over here, Willie. We're looking at pictures of celebration. We're looking at pictures alive from celebration back in Boston. We can only imagine. We saw the celebration here.
Man.
We can only imagine what's going on.
They're probably tearing it up, tearing the city up, and they deserved it. You know, it's a long time coming. Nobody believed in us but our fans and the guys on the field and our families.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Will McDonough. God, just hearing him talk there.
Done camping, Butch? You ever done camping? I got to do this, Mike.
I know. Go ahead.
Unless we want to add another hour to the show, which I don't think any of us want to do.
especially the
now that you're living out of the house, since your wardrobe's back there and your ties are on the counter right behind you.
Yeah, perfect candidate right here.
Boston 25, which says Fox 25, but we know it's Boston 25 because we don't want to associate it with Fox and the liberalism in New England.
Oh God, here we go.
What do you think about going into a camper, Butch? Maybe a camper, parking a camper outside the station might be a little more.
I might have to talk to you after the show.
Still running water and bathrooms and everything. Okay. Campers Camptoberfest kicks off soon at Cold Springs RV, just in time, Butch. I don't know how long you've been there.
Camptoberfest. Sounds
like
good.
Clothes are fresh and everything else. It's the best time to buy with our end of season savings. You can also get a great deal on next year's models that are now in stock. But check out the latest in pop-ups, travel trailers, fifth wheelers, and motorhomes. I think motorhome would be the best for you, Butch. You can actually entertain in a motorhome.
Yeah.
Now keep
We're gonna have a GoFundMe page for Butch's trailer.
A GoFundMe page?
Hang on a second. I'm not done. You haven't heard the best part.
Okay.
You can keep your RV secure all winter long with a storage starting at just $100 a month. It would, why wouldn't you go live inside your camper all winter for $100 a month?
While it's in storage?
Well, yeah, but you know what? You could figure out a way.
We know somebody. We
know somebody, right? Protect.
Camptoberfest. Yeah, I love it. Go ahead.
Camptoberfest. Protect your RV with the winterizing at Pro RV Service Center. Get to Cold Springs RV in Ware, New Hampshire.
Where?
Where is this? North of Tingsboro and west of Goffstown. Don't tell them Bob Lobel and Mike Lynch sent you. Don't do that. Tell them Butch Stearns sent you because
he's desperate. The Butch is desperate. He does. He needs
He's no more desperate than you and I are.
This could be a perfect endorsement for me.
Me
driving all over New England, waving out the window.
Yeah,
right. Seriously. Hi, I'm Butch Stearns.
Keep your laundry in the window so they see that you're just hanging stuff up. Like it is. Everyone drives by 128, looks up and can see. Wave to Butch's ties. Wave to Butch's wardrobe.
Right. It'll be driving to work. Or at coldspringsrv.com. You can drive down to Foxborough, cover the Patriots, drive back to Fenway, get into Fenway Park once in a while. All right, that's it. And Mike, you might have a quick question because it better be quick because we're running out of time.
All right, but the deal right here. We're going to get when they build the Lobel Lynchy cruiser, we're going to deliver it to Boston 25. and you can take all your clothes out of the window and put it in the camper. But you have to pick somebody to ride shotgun with you. We're going to send you across the country, and we'll fly you back. And you can either go to San Francisco or you can go to LA, but you'll be doing the driving, and somebody has to ride shotgun with you. Who would it be?
Dead or alive, right, Nike?
Dead or alive.
I mean, prefer he was alive when you ride it.
I can only pick one. I can only pick
one person. Your poor wife, you cannot pick. She has to stay home. But she's used to that anyway. So she's used to you not coming home because you're living at the TV station right now.
And if you pick a dead person, he's not going to be dead when you drive across the country.
No, they'll come back to life if they are already deceased.
Right. I mean, you don't have to give
an athlete. It can be a musician. It can be a politician. It can be a humanitarian. You name it.
Well, the easy answer would be my dad. I mean,
that's a great answer.
He was killed by a drunk driver when I was 27. My brother was 25, and my sister was 23. And
is that part of the memorial fund that you guys run, the Arthur?
We've had the golf tournament for 38 years, and the reason we have it is because we help out local families, and we bring them. This year, we had the Murray family from Weymouth, that Paul Murray's son, Jack, 12-year-old kid who skied into a tree in Cranmore Mountain, and another guy who lost his daughter, and now he's at 75 and he's raising his 2 grandkids. But we bring them to the tournament. We've been doing that every year. So the easy answer would be my dad, because for all those reasons,
Stop right there. Don't even think of anybody else.
I know.
That is the perfect choice. All right.
The Arthur F. Stearns Memorial Fund.
I love it.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to contribute to the Arthur F. they can look on, just Google it, and they'll find out if they can.
AFS, Arthur F. Stearns, afsbenefit.com is the website, afsbenefit.com.
Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to change gears now. What the F is going on with Tom Brady? What is he doing? I mean, just when we thought we couldn't figure out Belichick, now we can't figure out Brady. Should he be in the Raiders coaching box? Should he be playing in a touch football game with some prince from Saudi Arabia? I'm like I think the timing with 9/11 just happening, and then all of a sudden him being buddy with the chic somebody on the sidelines, it irritates me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of I know there's dozens of other players and coaches that are going over and going to play in this game in March, but the optics just bothered me.
Go ahead, Bob. You want to take a shot at that?
No, you're the guest on the show.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. Look, I don't think he's sacrilegious. I mean, I think he should be celebrated as much as possible in Boston, because he, besides Bill Russell, right? Nobody's ever been so instrumental in so many championships in Boston. But I think that, to me, here's what I always say about Tom Brady. I say the same thing about David Ortiz. You know, I'm sure many people ask you, what was this guy like? What was that guy like? And one of the things I say about both those guys is, look, I never saw them big time anybody. For all the people that will go on the radio and say he signed everybody's autograph and he stopped at me, I never saw them big time anybody. Ortiz and Brady do that, and they were very good to us, both of them, in the media. Yep. I think Brady's has always been good to me. When the statue was there, hold on, I got something in front of me. I can't see you guys. There I go. When the statue ceremony was there were 5 of us, I think, that were left there that day that had covered him from the beginning. Myself, Tommy Karen Garigian, and Mike Reese. And we all went up behind him, and he turned around. He said, a lot of old people. He goes, Karen, you look beautiful, but a lot of old guys here. And I just said, who are you calling old? He goes, that's a good point, Butch. But he never big timed anybody. However, after the 3rd Super Bowl, he became a corporation unto himself. He wasn't bad. He just became, TB12. And I think in retirement, that's gone to a different level. He has a compound in Miami. He's done that. I'm not making excuses for him, Mike.
No,
but I don't think he's
I
afraid.
love the guy. He's my favorite on and off the field person
right.
I covered. So I'm not kicking the crap out of him. I'm just wondering when is enough? 375 million for Fox, isn't that enough? Now he's got to sit in the Raiders coaching box on a night off, and then he's got to stand there with the chic of someplace. I don't know.
my only answer I can give you, because what the things in common you're saying are, come on, where are your advisors? Why are you doing this? Wouldn't somebody advise you not to do this, right? Like, you're a smart guy. I think it's the whole thing, that the one overriding thing we always heard about him. There's never, ever been anybody more competitive than him in anything. So I think maybe this whole NFL thing, being the owner, another whole subject. Why isn't he an owner of the Patriots instead of the Raiders? Whatever. We can go down that rabbit hole if you want. But maybe there's a certain thing where he's pushing the envelope again, like he always did. Deflategate burned him. I mean, but he took the high road publicly with Roger Goodell. He played kissy face, and after that, you think he wanted to? So I don't know, Mike. I don't know why he's doing it. I just think he's insatiable, and I don't think there's anybody that's Bobby or Larry Bird. We all know the Mount Rushmore. They were probably just as competitive. He belonged in that studio with Ted Williams and those two, Bob, when you did the greatest show ever. But I just think he's insatiable, and I think there's always a little some motive from him that he's trying to do it. I don't.
Well, I think you have to. You also, the one key to the question, I think, would be if you look at his performance on Fox this year as opposed to last year, he is miles ahead of what he was last year.
Right.
I think that's the kind of guy he is. I think he knew that he basically sucked last year.
Yeah.
And I think he did everything to improve himself. And I think he's been successful at doing that. He may not be the best ever. You also disagree. Maybe it's Al DeRogatis, maybe it's Tony Romo. I don't care who you like or don't like, but he's become certainly much better than he was last year, and he had to work at it. I mean, that's just not something that's not easy to do. You can't sit there and work at being an analyst.
He's very good at it, because you and I, all three of us know, I think we've all mentored a little bit athletes that get into the media. And one of their biggest fears, especially if they're doing color in a sport, is, I'm going to have to criticize players, because they didn't want to have to do that. But there's a way you do it. Brady will now tell you he's holding the ball too long. That's why he's getting sacked. You got to get
certainly, even as a minority owner of the Raiders, he's criticizing officials.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a double-edged sword. I saw some quotes today from other coaches that are going to play the Raiders that had him sit in on their pregame discussions already this year, and they're not worried about it, because he says everybody will see the same thing he sees. This isn't like we're revealing anything, but that's inside baseball for them. I mean, they can talk about conflict of interest and everything. I don't know about the Sheik stuff, Mike. I know that, but that's a personal choice. But I just would say one more thing, and then I'll shut up, because I know you got to do a George Gray commercial, and Butch has got to go because he's got to get dressed and everything else. But he doesn't have to go for it to do that. You know what? He is the ultimate celebrity, and I think once you become a 6th-round draft pick or 199, and you become the ultimate celebrity in the world and recognized by everybody, and everybody wants something from you, whether it's a picture or an autograph, all the time, 24/7, people want something from you, and after a while, that's got to get tiring. If you've come from a family background like he does, this is a big adjustment, and I don't think anybody can really adjust to that. Okay, I'll shut up, and that's my psychological.
Well, Mike, what's your short answer to that question about why Brady's doing what he's doing?
I just think he needs a challenge. He's not the guy that's going to sit home and get on and play
bingo.
Play bingo.
Bingo, you're right. He needs a challenge. He
needs a challenge in front of him. I love the guy. People ask me all the time, why is he your favorite? I said he hasn't changed since his rookie year when he was the 4th-string quarterback. And people say, come on, he was married to Zelda. I said, doesn't matter, because his parents have him well grounded, and they always have him. And I still think he's the nicest guy. But like some of these things, I think maybe because 9/11 was so fresh in my memory, and to have him just standing on the sideline with someone
I know
in some sheik dressed in his native costume just didn't resonate well with me. It's almost like that when he did that roast, and then afterwards he kind of regretted it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that was a disaster.
Yeah. So I think he might be having the same regrets about this thing. I mean, if they just said, "Hey, I'm playing in a touch football thing over in Saudi Arabia with Gronk and all these guys, my former friends and teammates," and here's the list of guys. But just the shot of the two of them on the sideline, just made me feel uneasy. I thought of all those families that just had to go through hell again, marking another 24th year since 9/11/01. And that's all. That's all I want to say about it.
I think you nailed it. I think he's doing the things he's doing because he's what, 47 now. So whatever he played until his early 40s. So, but he still. I mean, we've all heard the stories from athletes about you're never going to get the roar of the crowd anymore. You're never going to get the adrenaline rush that you got when you're playing career, especially if you played at the level that he played for as long as he did. So he needs that, and I think he does things to do that. And I don't think he minds tweaking some people. He never did. We all know the guys, everyone from Ryan Clark to Anthony Smith to the guys he targeted when they took shots at him, right? The guys he went right in their face. So he's a different cat when it comes to that. Boomer Esiason took a big shot at him and said, it's a huge conflict of interest. This is bullshit. He shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, whatever. He's not going to respond to that. He's just going to keep doing what he wants to do. He's always been like that.
All right, let me get a little plug in here for George Grace, Lexington Toyota. Hey, if you're thinking about a new vehicle, go where Lobel and Lynch go. We only go to one place. My daughter was in there last week and got her oil change. And go see our good friend George Gray at George Gray's Lexington Toyota. We've been customers for years because we know that George Gray will treat you right. They're a family-owned and operated dealership that we trust and you can trust as well. Go see the big wheel, we call him, the great George Gray at George Gray's Lexington Toyota, 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. I don't think George Gray has ever had baby powder on his rear end.
Don't be so sure.
I'm not sure. Do you think
no, don't be so sure.
And I wonder if George has any.
I'll confirm. I'll check with him and find out.
Check and find out if he's ever had it, and find out if he has any extra shirts and ties for Butch's wardrobe.
Well, no. I think you're the one who needs the extra shirt, Mike, after watching that Parcells interview.
Hey, do you like that?
I like it. Well, that's kind of let's not get carried away. It was different, okay? It got my attention. It was different. Where the hell did he get that?
I think it was
Did he pay for that?
A Tommy Hilfiger
shit on the pocket. I mean, is that actually a pocket or what is that?
That's good producing by Keelan right there. Popping that right up when we're talking about it.
What's the hair all about? Jesus.
Yeah, how about the haircut? That looks like the bowl one on top, and it just.
No, it does. I mean, seriously. Yeah. Little pudgy Mike.
How old were you then? Oh my goodness!
Now put that back up, Keelan. I want to show you something. So Parcells is looking over my shoulder. If the show was named the Bill Parcells Show, he was to be paid. I don't know the exact amount, but I think it was in the vicinity of $300,000 to $500,000. So about the fifth or sixth week in the show, Parcells, I'm asking him a question. He's looking over my shoulder. He goes, "What does that thing say on the bottom? Patriots preview with," and I said, "I don't know, Bill." He goes, "What does it say? Turn around and read it." So I turned around. I said, "Bill Parcells." He goes, "I'm supposed to get paid if my name is up there. Did you have anything to do with that?" I said, "Bill, first of all, I can barely spell your name." I said, "Do you think I have zero artistic ability?" So he just looked at it and he went, "Crafty craft. Crafty craft." And I knew, I kind of suspected that the parting was coming, but when I heard that, you knew, right? Crafty craft.
Well, why does one guy say crafty craft and the other points out to the owner and the owner's son?
I don't know.
I'm just telling you. Butch, you're going down to Foxborough on Saturday. Parcells, I know we talked about him, but you got to point out he's going into the Patriots Hall of Fame on Saturday. And this is one of the real good reasons we had a chance to talk about him. And so this is, kind of a big deal. So enjoy your time down there, Butch.
Thanks.
Now, Butch, is that 128 behind you or the back of the building?
No, that's the parking lot.
Yeah, that's where he's
That's
going
where
to park.
that's my RV is. Yeah, it's right out there.
That's where you'll be sleeping out there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. All right, so
Hey,
Bob.
Butch, great show.
Butch,
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you, guys.
A lot of fun
Miss
as
you guys,
always.
man. I seriously, I miss you guys.
Whatever it
I know.
is, don't invite us to Braintree to play golf. Whatever you do, don't do that.
Come on, you were treated like a king when you went up to Braintree. Give me a break.
It's a great course, and the people are unbelievable.
Yeah, well, they aerated the back. They got divots out there that look like beaver pelts.
I hate that.
Really?
I know.
I know
Yeah,
that.
but they were there blowing them off today. So you got to keep it out of the rough. You hit it in the rough at your own.
Whatever you do, don't call back. It's okay.
Hey, you know these things. They have phones. They work both ways, Bob.
Oh,
You can pick them up and you can
part
call.
of the problem. I really don't.
Yeah.
By the way, how many guests have I sent to your show over the last 6 months?
Besides yourself,
Yeah.
not many. We haven't had lawnmower.
What about 2 weeks ago? Who did I run into? And didn't you call them? Who?
Diossi?
No. Who
Matt
did I
Siegel.
Matt Siegel. Did you get Matt Siegel on?
Not yet. We're gonna.
We should.
Okay.
We should.
He said I'd love to go on their show.
No, he didn't say that.
No, he told me that.
Okay. Well. Then now that I know,
He probably wants to get paid.
Well,
Well,
so do we.
He's up there now. So yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to him. See if we can get him on. Would that be all right, Bob?
Of course. I got great Matt Siegel stories.
All right, sounds good. All right, Butch, get ready for
Any ones that he wants to hear.
Hey, don't you have news now? Like every hour on the you.
Yeah, but I'm not in the 3 o'clock news. Not yet.
Oh, that's right. And your
I don't
news
want to be in
director was our old sports director, right?
Yeah, Scott Isaacs. Any message for Scott? I'll go down and give it to him.
Tell Scott to give you more time.
Yeah, see
All right?
how that works.
Lynchy says you need more time.
Okay.
Bob says you need more help.
Yeah.
In help. Yes.
And a dressing room.
You guys couldn't. We can't do sports anymore because you can't say anything about anything on the air. I write stuff sometimes. I go down there and look at it. I go, nope. Gender, ethnicity, religion, politics, anything that's someone's going to be upset about something you say.
How about what Parcells just said about Terry Glenn? She's not ready.
Not a chance.
No, not a chance.
He might be fired today, right?
Right.
Not a chance.
Ridiculous.
All right.
Well, Crafts may be able to go.
Hey guys, it was great catching up with you.
Yeah,
All right,
too,
Butch, you're the best.
All right. No, you guys are. Thank you.
Butch Stearns is our guest. Catch him on Boston 25 tonight. And make sure you catch us at unanchoredboston.com. But more importantly, you can find us on YouTube as well. We'll see you next week.